The views expressed on the Warren and Bradley Show are not necessarily those held by the hosts, Warren and Bradley, nor those of the proprietors of the website, warrenandbradley.com.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire!
Let's make some holiday magic.
It's Christmas time, Warren.
It is kind of Christmas time. It's like almost there.
Well, this is our Christmas show. We're recording it a little in advance of actual Christmas, but by the time it gets edited and posted, it will be Christmas. So,
Well, if any like tragic events happen between now and Christmas time, and you're wondering why we're not talking about the terrorist attack or something, it's because we recorded this before Christmas.
There's a little bit of a delay.
Yeah.
But this is the Christmas show of the Warren and Bradley podcast, the Warren and Bradley Show, whatever the hell it's called. We just went to a holiday party, a holiday theme party last night.
We did, yes.
Did you have a good time?
I had a lovely time while I was there. I'm a little under the weather now. I may have had too much to drink.
Overindulged?
I haven't been indulging much lately, and then I had beer, and I had wine, and I had some, like, that punch, and I had...
The punch was very good. I liked the punch.
Yeah, the punch was delightful, and I had some brandy at one point.
Brandy?
Have
you ever had brandy before?
I don't think I'd ever had brandy, and then someone was like, "Hey, here's some brandy, put this in your punch," and I was like, "Just put some in a cup, I just want to try it." And it was unpleasant.
For those of you who don't know Warren, you just started drinking how long ago now? Like
It's been a couple of years, probably.
Maybe 2 years. So you waited until you were 31 before ever tasting alcohol.
Yeah, that's right.
And it was for no moral reason. It wasn't your strict Mormon faith or anything like that.
No, I abandoned that years ago. Yeah, I just never started. And then as life got increasingly boring as the years went by, I was like, I'll give this a shot now. Well,
that's the funny thing is that most people, when they're 21 or even younger, they start their whole drinking experiment, and they kind of make all those mistakes, like, you don't know how much you can take before you're completely fucked up. You end up blacking out and vomiting and going crazy. But you were doing that at 31, like a little college student or something.
Yeah, sometimes I wish I would black out because I kind of want to know what that experience is. My reaction to alcohol seems to be that I just like start to vomit, get very sick when I have a lot of alcohol. So I can never really experience anything like, an experience where I don't remember what happens. I like wake up with my fists all like scraped up, and then I wonder what happened. That never happens to me.
See, I do get the blackout thing every once in a while. I mean, I don't drink that often anymore. Or I guess I never have been like a daily drinker. But usually on the weekends, tie one on. But I used to in the past have more instances where I would wake up. There was a time in LA when I was going to school down there. I woke up in my bed fully clothed, like in my dorm room at college. I had Taco Bell food kind of crushed and smeared on my body as I was in bed. My sunglasses were in my pocket and broken. I had a rip in my jeans and like a bloody knee, and one of my fists was all bruised as though I had been fighting somebody. And so obviously, I wanted to know what had happened. And so I started trying to track down anyone who had seen me that night, figure out. Because the only thing I remember, and that's the thing, to me there didn't seem to be any missing time. I could remember being in a club, I remember being with my friends, and I could remember, I thought, the entire trip home. Like my friend Kirk drove me home, I went inside, but there was nothing about Taco Bell food, there was nothing about like smacking my knee, there was nothing about crushing my knuckles. So I finally got a hold of my friend Kirk, and apparently what I had done, we got really drunk.
Yeah.
We were leaving a club on Santa Monica Boulevard. We were going to his car. He had this crazy old classic Corvette, kind of like a Dirk Diggler Corvette. Yeah. And there was a guy trying to break into his car as we approached it. And me, being drunk, went, "Aah!" and ran at the guy. But before I even got to him, I fell. And that's when I scraped my knee. The guy turns around and is like, "What the hell?" I run up and try to hit him, but instead hit Kirk's car and actually dent the door of it. The guy runs away. He manhandles me into the car, as he's driving me to my place, I apparently demanded that we go to Taco Bell for me to get some food, which I guess I did, and then got in bed with it and smeared it over my body and fell asleep.
See, these are the kind of things that I don't ever experience.
Yeah.
Because I just ended up going home last night being like, I don't feel well. And then I was just kind of like hunched over in the bathroom, kind of like grabbing my head, like, you know, wishing it would end. When will it end? And
See,
that's less fun.
I don't normally vomit. Sometimes the next day I will, if I've just been completely wasted. But yeah, I mean, normally I can maintain pretty good composure. I want to do a little housekeeping right now, just to tie up some loose ends. On a previous podcast, I mentioned the penis bone and had the wrong name for the penis bone. It's actually called the baculum. So for anyone who's...
What did you say it was?
Something like a perineum, or I have no idea.
The perineum is like the bone that's around there, though, right?
Maybe, I don't know. I'd like to say maybe that is the case.
We should just compound our error by making another error that we have to correct.
In case anyone was keeping notes or want to be able to use this fact for future...
If you're using this podcast as like a text in a university class, you definitely want to know that that was incorrect.
Yeah, so baculum.
Baculum, penis bone.
And also, again, we haven't been announcing this enough. If you want to get in touch with us, it is podcast@warrenandbradley.com. Our website is www.warrenandbradley.com, and our Facebook page is Facebook/Warren and Bradley. So get on there, like us, go to iTunes, subscribe, write us messages, let us know what we're doing, how we're doing.
Well, you know, Bradley, that's not the only way to get in touch with us.
How else can you get in touch with us, Warren?
Twitter.
Twitter, really?
Yes.
I didn't know this. Did you start a Twitter?
Oh, yeah.
A Warren and Bradley Show Twitter?
There's an unfortunate thing about Twitter, though. Apparently, your Twitter handle can only be 15 characters long, and Warren and Bradley is 16 characters. So it's at Warren and Brad.
Oh, no.
I know. I knew. That's why I've been like hesitant about telling you.
All right. We'll be coming soon. We'll be tweeting things.
Oh, I've been tweeting things for weeks.
All right. That's good. Jesus.
They're all good.
All these racist rants or something?
No.
This is the Warren and Bradley Show. Like, I had nothing to do with it.
I'm trying to keep it clean, you know.
As opposed to the actual podcast, which... This is the other thing that's been happening lately is, now that we're public figures, you know, we're in the public eye. In fact, I think that there was a post on the Huffington Post about the show recently. The controversial things that we've been discussing. We're actually getting feedback. And I would just like to say right now, we're not assholes. Right? We're not, really. And I think either people are just overly sensitive or they don't have a sense of humor. That's the problem, I think. We're just, you know, we take a subject and we run with it. We go to the ultimate conclusion of where you could take that subject. It doesn't necessarily, you know, there is a disclaimer at the front of the show that we don't even necessarily believe the things we say. So just keep that in mind.
We don't. We're just throwing things out there, you know.
See what sticks. So Christmas.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about the holiday nowadays? Because there's kind of a disconnect from the way you felt about it as a child to now, and neither of us have kids, so...
No, we don't.
Know of.
Christmas, I mean, it's fine. I don't want to, like, have to do a lot of Christmas-related things. I don't want to buy gifts for people, typically.
Do you buy gifts for people?
No. Because...
No family members or anything?
No. We discussed it. Maybe we did something where we like put names in a hat and everyone would get a gift for somebody. But people were like, we don't want to do that because, you know, my thing about gifts is it's for children.
Well, for the most part, and occasionally, I like buying gifts for people if I've got the funds. But that's because usually I'm pretty good at picking out something that I think they might actually want to use.
Yeah.
And too often, Christmas is just about buying shit that nobody needs and them having to act as though they enjoy it because, I don't know.
You feel obligated to buy something for someone. You're like, here's this thing. And they're like, I don't need this. But they also feel obligated to buy something back for you because you bought them something.
Right.
And you get something you don't want. In my opinion, if you're a grown-up, just go buy the thing you want. Yeah. And then we'll all just get together and maybe have some ham on Christmas Day.
Well, it has gotten to the point now, through years and years of failed gifts, that I pretty much get the same thing every Christmas, and they're things. I get socks.
Oh, yeah, I need some of those.
Which is always useful. I always need socks. And those are things that I don't really buy for myself. I think I might be getting an electric toothbrush from my dad.
Oh, yeah.
This year, which I'm pretty happy about. And then for me, it's just for immediate family, and I end up now pretty much just getting like iTunes gift cards or, Best Buy gift cards or something.
Well, things that allow you to get what you want to get.
Right. But it is sad to think about, when I was a little kid and I would cut out pictures of Transformers out of Sears catalogs, and I'd be in bed with a flashlight staring at, the Optimus Prime Transformer, and imagining being able to get that on Christmas. And now I don't really look forward to it at all.
It would be strange if you had a toy catalog now and we're looking at it.
Yeah, maybe.
Waiting for these special toys to come on Christmas morning.
It was usually my grandparents were the guaranteed Transformer. It was like,
oh, yeah?
Oh, you're getting a Transformer from Grandpa and Grandma. But I think maybe if I had children, I could get more into the holiday spirit again.
If you did have these children, would you make them believe in Santa Claus?
I was thinking about that because I never did as a child. My parents made no effort to kind of implant that idea in my head, and so I ruined a lot of Christmases for a lot of other people because I would just blithely go around, there's no Santa Claus, make people cry. But I don't think I would, actually.
Really?
It just seems like a really weird trick to play on a child, that this creepy fat old man with a beard is going to come in your house and leave presents for you, and then making them sit on his lap in the mall and everything. That seems really creepy to me too. Because the guys that are playing Santa, there's got to be something kind of weird about that.
Well, I was thinking about that too. It's got to be some sort of like person between jobs, maybe. Just getting part-time work here and there,
Yeah.
Old guy.
It's kind of like, I assume it's the same kind of employment pool as carnies, maybe.
Yeah. And those are the people I want my children sitting on their laps.
No. I don't know if they fumigate the costume every year and sort of...
Well, I guess it's weird now, as I think back on sitting on Santa's lap as a kid. I go to the store and we'd sit there. It's like I was never under the impression that was Santa Claus. I always knew it was just some man with a beard on. And I was a child just sitting on the lap of a stranger with a beard on.
Yeah, you just have to go through this weird charade because your parents want you to.
But all of us know that it's not Santa Claus. Like, all of us know that the other person knows it's not Santa Claus. It's like, why are we doing this?
Well, with me, I never sat on Santa's lap because I never did believe in Santa Claus. But there were times I can remember being in a toy store and there was a disgusting, freakish Santa sitting in there like... And I was trying to look at toys, and I was really trying to avoid him because he was calling all the kids over to come sit on his lap. And he'd be like, come here, boy, come on, sit on my lap. And I was like, no. And finally, my mom, even though she knew I didn't believe in Santa Claus, she's like, just go sit on his lap. Go sit on his lap. And it turned into this huge scene where I was screaming that he isn't really Santa Claus and there is no Santa Claus. And then other kids who were in line waiting to sit on Santa's lap. I don't know. It was a whole snafu.
So that was the part that offended you, the ruse?
I'm
not going to be part of this?
It didn't make sense to me. I didn't understand why people would go to all this trouble. I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
Do kids believe in the Easter Bunny?
I don't know if that's really encouraged.
It's not a thing if you're 4 or 5 and you get up on Easter morning, you have your little basket there. You think that Easter Bunny brought it to you?
That's the insidious thing about this, is because you can tell a kid anything when they're 3 and they'll believe you. And so why stop at the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus? I mean, you got the Tooth Fairy, you've got all this other weird crap. You could make up any nefarious individual, like, oh, this is the breakfast fairy. He left your cornflakes for you every morning. Like, why stop at the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus? If you're going to lie to children, why not lie to them about everything?
It's kind of like Life is Beautiful. Remember?
I never saw that. The freaky little Italian dude, right?
Yeah, and he... the Holocaust was going on, and they took him to the concentration camp, and he was trying to make his child think the entire thing was a game. It's dark, okay?
What? I thought this was some poignant feel-good movie.
It is. It's a poignant feel-good movie, but
about
it's
the Holocaust.
Yes, but he's got this kid, and they're like, "Ooh, we're doing this and that." The reason we're doing this is because it's part of a game, even though they're being transported to be killed.
Yeah, I would think after a couple days of seeing people going into ovens, you might realize that the game isn't very fun to play anymore.
You'd be surprised.
So what? How did this pan out? So the kid,
I think the kid survives.
The kid spent the whole war thinking that this was some
up to this day
elaborate ruse,
and he's still just like, the Holocaust is the greatest thing ever.
Jesus Christ.
No, I think Roberto Benigni or whatever his name is dies, but I think the kid survives because of the game somehow. Right. It's been years since I saw it, but I mean, you could do that with your kid and just be like, everything's magic, and everything that's happening to you is brought by fairies.
Yeah, and then once they do finally come to the truth, do they resent you after that, or do they get mature enough that they realize that it was just to make things a little more fun and magical? Like, I don't know. I mean, I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with encouraging a belief in the fantastical, but what does it get you, really?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. If I had a kid, the kid's life would be like the Holocaust. He doesn't want to be around. I don't want this kid. So I'd be like, I kind of try to make it magic too. Like,
how would you
time?
How would you make living with you magical?
I'd be like, here we go in the magic closet, the dark magic closet for the entire weekend,
on the couch with a bag of candy.
He's like, this is Papa's candy. Hands off.
One Christmas tradition that I used to have as a small child was, once the feeding frenzy was over, all the presents had been unwrapped and everyone had sort of taken their loot and ferreted away into their respective corners to kind of pore over it and gloat over what they had gotten. I would take all the boxes and wrappings and everything that had been left over, and I would fashion myself a little sort of loincloth out of a pillowcase, and I would pretend to be a kung fu guy, and I'd crush all the cardboard boxes because it made me feel like I was actually some amazing martial artist.
The whole breaking things with your hand and karate and whatnot. Is that a useful skill?
I think it's supposed to be, just kind of showing off a little bit, but then also, at least in Kung Fu, my understanding is that it's supposed to show that you have mastered the art of Qi, of the spiritual energy within you, and you can direct that, because they'll do things like smashing iron bars over their foreheads.
Oh, yeah.
And it's supposed to be the kind of thing where I'm going to do something ridiculous that would cause anyone else to just die, but I'm going to do it showing that I've directed my chi to my forehead and I can smash this iron bar over my head without dying or getting a concussion.
So it is just showing off.
It is, yeah, I think so.
Doesn't seem very wise and Eastern and enlightened.
Well, I can't imagine being in a fight. I don't know, maybe someone is defending themselves with a piece of balsa wood.
Yeah.
And you're able to, well, I break these all the time. I'm just going to break right through that.
But I gotta think, if you broke through all of those, like a cinder block or some wood, if you got a good chopping on somebody's spine, you could really give them some trouble.
Yeah, I think a spine is a lot harder to break than a little...
Oh, because it bends and stuff,
yeah.
Huh?
Have you ever tried to break a man's bone with your bare hands? It's really hard.
I don't feel like it... Really? I always think, if I took somebody's, arm and took their, bicep in my left hand and their forearm in my right hand and, bent backwards on their elbow, it would just crack like a crab leg.
I think maybe it would have to be lever action. You wouldn't be able to do it just with just the strength of your arms alone. I don't think so. You would have to get it... Maybe if you put one foot on their shoulder...
Yeah.
And then got a hand under the elbow and bend it the wrong way, and then use it like a fulcrum where you could put the other hand on the forearm, and then you could just and bend the joint the wrong way.
Or if I put the back of their elbow on my knee and just broke it over my knee like a baseball bat, when baseball players strike out and get really frustrated.
What we need to do is get some skeletons. But see, that the skeleton is more brittle, because when it has veins and the marrow and everything going through it, we'll have to get fresh cadavers and then just try different ways of breaking their bones. Because you watch movies, and it'll be like some action movie, and they're fighting, and the guy just goes and breaks the guy's neck like that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that easy to do.
One of the subjects we address a lot in the show is prostitution.
This is true.
And we get a lot of weird feedback about that. It's like, why are you talking about prostitution?
Apparently
so
that's
much?
not a polite discussion to have,
No.
I guess.
But then the other day, I'm walking down the street.
Yeah.
I'm by my work, where there's lots of prostitutes. I'm supposed to go to a bar to have some drinks with some people. I got to kill time between the end of work and going to this bar.
So you might as well go to...
Well, exactly. No, I was like, I'll go get some food.
Yeah.
So I went down the street, and this place I wanted to eat was closed. So I ended up at McDonald's.
Ooh.
I had a McFlurry and some French fries.
What's a McFlurry?
It's like a Blizzard, but a McDonald's Blizzard.
Oh, okay.
I'm walking back to go to this bar. I'm walking by one of the shady motels in the area.
Oh, yeah. The drug motels?
Oh, yeah. And I see this, shady figure come from the parking lot as I'm walking on the sidewalk. And it goes, "What are you looking at?" And I go, "Oh, nothing." She goes, "Do you want some of this?"
Did she gesture to herself?
It's very dark. And no, she's very baggy clothing. You know what I mean?
Oh, really?
It could have been like a boy if I didn't heard the voice.
Well, it is winter, too, so you can't really be in a
Yeah, you can't be, And so I said, no, thank you. And I kept walking, and then she walked behind me for a while, and it was really uncomfortable. I was like, what am I just going to turn and go somewhere? Because I can't have this person walk behind me. And then she crossed one of the other drug motels and went in there and did God knows what.
How old was this person?
It's hard to tell. It's very dark. I'm going to say 30s maybe. She sounded raspy, but,
Well.
you live that lifestyle, you're going to get raspy
Yeah.
pretty quick.
So was she an attractive prostitute? Was she fit?
No, she just looked like one of the ones you see down there. From what I could tell.
See, this is what we were talking about before. I've never seen like a streetwalker around.
Well, Vancouver.
Yeah.
There are attractive ones up there. If you drive down the street and you'll actually see like a pretty prostitute hanging out sometimes.
Well, even when I lived in LA, I never saw any female prostitutes walking the street. I'd see transvestite prostitutes a lot.
Oh, yeah.
But that's it. And I didn't know, because there's that myth of just these streetwalkers hanging around on corners like, oh, you want a date, baby? And I've never seen that.
No, that happens. I've seen that in places.
Huh.
And it'll be kind of a industrial more area, or a place where a lot of cars go by, and they'll hang out there.
Motel rooms by the hour nearby.
Yeah. I think they probably go up and down Aurora Avenue in Seattle too. I think.
What's the mentality of the people who own these motels, knowing? Because when you set up a cut rate motel and you rent rooms by the hour, that's for prostitutes or for people to go and like cook up their heroin and shoot it up. What's the moral? I don't know. When you set that up, you're like, oh, we're going to cater to prostitutes and meth heads. So are you going to go back and try to find that prostitute later?
That's what I was thinking about, was like, I should have engaged the prostitute in conversation.
Yeah.
It would have been great for the podcast.
Yeah.
Because then I would have been actually talking to a prostitute and like negotiate with the prostitute.
So what? You're gonna lead her on and pretend that you're gonna.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Purchase her services.
That's not a good move, is it?
And run off.
Yeah,
like a little
pretend
kid
like,
ringing a doorbell and running away.
I had the talk with you and then I abandoned you.
Because it's kind of, her life probably isn't great. And what she doesn't need is to waste a lot of time on you.
This is why I didn't do this. Because, I don't need to be, like, profiting from her sorrow, really.
And then we laugh.
So I did get a question from one of our fans on Twitter. Are you familiar with the show Tough Love, which views on it's on VH1? Well, there's this guy who's like a relationship expert, and he brings these women in who can't hold down a man.
Right.
And he gives them tough love in this house. He's like, this is how you do things. And he sends them on dates, and he like videotapes and then breaks it down, and it's like, you've got issues. Figure it out.
Right.
And he always talks about deal breakers on that show. And I had a question from one of our loyal listeners about our deal breakers. Do you have any specific deal breakers?
This is gonna make people love us. I don't know. Like, okay, so I am a fairly thin person, and so I would not date someone who was significantly larger than me, probably.
You bastard.
Is that make me an asshole? Is that a horrible thing to say? I think, this is something that annoys me when I hear girls all the time talking about, okay, I'm not going to date some guy because of what he does for a living, or there's a myriad of reasons why a woman won't date a man, but if I say that I won't date someone who's overweight, I'm a horrible dick for saying that. But that's what, I'm not attracted to that. So should I be forced to date somebody that I'm not attracted to? I can't help what I find attractive and what I don't find attractive.
This is true. I tend to agree with this. It's not the fact that you're like discriminating against them because they're fat. You're discriminating against them because you're not attracted to them.
Yeah, and that's a perfectly valid. I have no criteria for race, nothing like that. It doesn't matter to me. If I'm attracted to somebody, I'm attracted to somebody. And there might be certain archetypes that I might be more attracted to. Like I usually go for people who have dark hair and dark eyes. I don't know why exactly. I just am more attracted to that. Maybe it's because we live in an area where there's just a lot of blue-eyed white people running around, and maybe I'm just attracted to kind of
the novelty,
something that doesn't look like my mom. Well, actually, my mom has dark hair.
Oh God, here we go.
No. There's no edible thing. I'm saying it's the opposite, where I don't want to be with someone who, I don't know. I just find that more attractive. Like if there was a girl who had an identical twin, and one twin had, well, she wouldn't be identical, but let's say they were identical except for the fact that one had blue eyes and blonde hair and one had brown eyes and black hair, I would be more attracted to the one who had brown eyes and black hair.
What if the one that had blue eyes and blonde hair had a better personality?
Well, I'm saying if they were exactly the same.
They're exactly the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what about you? What about deal breakers for you?
General awfulness, I guess, would be a deal breaker with me.
Well, that's how I feel. I know I do hear people talking about like, oh, I only like redheads, or I only like girls with curly hair, or certain breast size or thing. I don't have anything like that.
No.
If I could be attracted to all sorts of different kinds of people and just in different ways.
Yeah. I'm open-minded that way.
Yeah. So I guess we're actually not dicks as far as this goes. Maybe.
Are you going to put this in the podcast?
Maybe. Because we don't sound too horrible, do we? Usually I edit out all the things we say that are really awful. And judging by what's already left in the podcast, you can imagine what some of those things are.
Yeah, that's the gold you're hearing, people. You may not think it's good, but that's the best we got. There's a lot of chaff that we're leaving on the floor here.
Chaff? Chaff.
Oh, yeah, chaff.
Chaff.
No, wait. Oh, yeah,
It's chaff. You separate the chaff.
Chaff from the... Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
If you chafe is like to rub something,
Yeah,
right?
and when your thighs are... The people who I wouldn't date, their thighs rub together and they get...
Starting forest fires.
Yeah, I've tried to explain to girls many times as I try to educate them with my own version of tough love, perhaps. Women will be complaining about not being able to meet anybody. They can't go out on dates. And I always get really annoyed by that because it's so much easier for women than it is for men. If you're even remotely attractive, if all you want to do is have sex, you could just go into a bar one night and say, I want to have sex. And you would have 40 men queuing up and you could pick and choose whoever you wanted. It's not difficult. If it's a relationship, yeah, maybe that's a little more difficult to find somebody you're compatible with. But, God, we have it so much harder. You could be a really good-looking guy, and you still, I don't know.
You walk into a bar and go...
I want to have sex, and people slap you.
Yeah, and they call the police.
Yeah.
No one's queuing up for that.
Have you ever been slapped by a woman?
No.
I have.
Really?
Yeah. It was really cool. It was like a movie. And it was a case of mistaken identity, too. It wasn't actually anything I had done. I was in a bar in L.A., like some dance club or something. There's some themed night. And I was with a friend... And we were just, just hanging out, scoping it out, having a drink. And I could see from across the dance floor, these two girls were talking and pointing at us. And so I was with my friend, like, oh, looks like getting a little tension over here. And so one of the girls gets this look of resolve on her face, and she starts marching over to us. And I was like, okay, it's on now. And I was nudging my friend. He's like, oh, yeah. She comes up, and she goes, ba-bam! And just slaps me across the face with no preamble.
Oh, my God.
And I'm like, oh! I back off, and I look over to her friend, and her friend is going, yeah, no, like waving her arms and shaking her head. The friend who slapped me, looks over at that friend and kind of goes, and you can see this look of shock. And then the other friend comes over and says, it's not him, not him. And apparently, I guess some guy like slept with the friend and then didn't call her again. And so this girl was telling the other girl this story. She got all righteous anger about it, and apparently it was a guy a little ways behind me that they were talking about, but she thought she was talking about me. What kind of friend is this who just immediately, all right, do you want a description? No, I don't need a description of the guy. I don't need to know exactly what he looks like. If it could be that person, I'm just going to go slap him right now.
That's not the kind of woman I want to be our president, I'll tell you that right now.
What are you talking about?
You just need to be a little bit more judicious about your use of force.
Are you playing into the whole sexist thing? Like if we have a woman president, then she'll, when it's her time of the month, she might actually accidentally launch nukes.
Oh no! But there are men that react that way too.
Well, yeah, I think men.
What they do.
I think men are more likely to be emotional about use of force, like getting pissed off and just deciding that we're going to go invade Uzbekistan or something.
The woman slapping thing is interesting because in movies and TV shows, occasionally like a woman will like get hysterical
and then you slap them.
And they slap them. That's never going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea to
it?
ever try to do that.
Have you ever been in a situation where a woman's just like, whoa, losing her mind, so you just have to like, come on, get yourself together. You slap her because you're like, okay, pull yourself together, woman.
I've never been in maybe if I was escaping from terrorists and she was with me and she was flipping out and it was a life or death situation and that was the only option I had. Where I don't really think that works. I think if you slapped a woman when she was freaking out, she would just freak out even more.
I'd be more likely to like grab her by the arms and like go, listen.
Yeah.
We've got to get away.
Yeah.
And if she's still like, oh, I'd be like, smack. I guess. I don't know.
I don't.
Do you think it works?
I don't know. I have seen little kids who are having a tantrum.
Oh,
and their parents not slapping them, but it'll just be like, hey, hey, like you have to get their attention, like shock them out of that weird mood that they're in. So maybe that's where the whole slapping things come from. But I think it's more of just a misogynistic, like, you could do other things to probably get the woman's attention.
But it's quicker and easier to just slap them.
Yeah, I don't think that's the best idea. I think in real life, that's the whole conversation I think we've had before, where movie reality versus real life reality. If you slap a girl in real life, the cops will probably be called and you'll be arrested for battery, which you probably should be. It's also all the romantic comedy behavior that people engage in movies, which in real life would be considered harassment and stalking.
Yeah.
Like there's there's a single mom struggling to survive. She's maybe a waitress at a diner.
Yeah.
And you go in there and you have kind of a cad sort of reputation. She doesn't know if she can trust you because she's trying to raise her kid. She needs a father for her child.
Sure.
And so you have to put your past behind you, and as you try to approach her, she has these doubts, and so you break into her apartment and put like flowers and a banner up, or you stand outside and play music. Yeah, that's actually stalking and harassment.
The other thing that happens in like rom-coms, the starlet and the star will be at loggerheads at the beginning of the movie.
Oh yeah.
But eventually like fall in love. Mm-hmm. There's also like a Google Plus ad on the internet right now that shows this woman. You can see like her screen, and she puts this guy's head in like kind of like creepers, and then like some other one, and it keeps getting more like intimate, and apparently it's like the one. She like moves him into. I don't think that happens in real life.
Yeah.
You don't start out as a creeper and then eventually become the like husband.
Well, and that's the myth of the movie, is that the more you annoy somebody, eventually they'll realize that you are really great and that they should spend the rest of your life.
Well, that is the myth of the romantic comedy, isn't it?
Yeah.
That things are going to work out. 'Cause
Yeah.
things don't ever actually work out.
No, never.
And it's always bad.
And I love the fact that the movie always ends when, okay, we've decided we're actually going to give it a try. You don't see what happens 6 months down the road when it all just falls apart in a ball of flames.
No.
Which is what always happens. It's just as soon as they've decided, okay, we've met on the bridge or whatever, and I didn't think you were going to come, but then she came, and the music swells, and they hug and kiss.
Things are resolved forever.
That's the end of the movie.
Yeah. Just the beginning of the sorrow, as far as I can tell. Oh no.
Oh, we always have an off day every once in a while, don't we?
Yeah, I was wondering if that was going to happen. Oh yeah, I know what I'll talk about for briefly. So we've talked in the past about people dumping hard alcohol up their asshole.
Right,
to absorb.
The alcohol enema.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now I've heard the latest craze is to use an extra absorbent tampon, soak it in hard alcohol, and shove it up there. Mm-hmm. And it apparently, bam, perfect. It works perfectly well. So the like length of the tampon gets right to the place where it like absorbs into your bloodstream instantly. You're drunk just like that.
How much alcohol does the tampon actually absorb?
Well, it's extra absorbent. I don't know how much like blood a regular tampon absorbs.
I don't really know how that whole thing works. Is it like gallons that are getting sucked into this thing?
Okay, well, you're not losing gallons.
I would think it's more of like a cork in a bottle, and it just doesn't let it through, right? It's not soaking up every bit that comes down. It's actually just preventing it from all pouring out, right?
And this is a very good question. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe. If any of our female listeners would have write it.
It seems like having
podcast at WardenBradley.com.
Operating as a cork sounds like dangerous to your health.
Well, because there's that. What is that called? The toxic. Where you
toxic shock from your
toxic shock.
If you have something up there,
8 days.
Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. What I don't get, I don't know if we want to talk about this, but I don't get when women wear the pad.
I don't know.
That seems like a bad idea to me.
We're in a subject we know nothing about.
Yeah.
It does. I know exactly what you're saying. It seems like what's the point?
Yeah, don't let it get to that point. You know, you got to stop it at the source.
Yeah.
Have you ever? No.
All right, we'll just go with it.
Well, have you ever had a girl have an accident while sleeping in your bed?
No. Oh no, we're not. Yeah, we can't discuss this.
Yeah.
This isn't going in the podcast.
Because I'm fine. Like, I guess a lot of men are really squeamish about that.
Oh no, yeah, it doesn't bother me. Blood doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's fine. These things happen.
Not,
I'm not making them stay in a tent and nobody allowed to touch them while they're
unclean.
Yeah.
Yeah, poop and pee and blood, none of those things bother me.
Feces and urine would kind of bother me.
Really?
Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, if I'm dating someone, they do not have bodily functions the same way that I do. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to know anything about it. It kind of ruins the romance, I think.
Really?
If you hear him like bearing down on the toilet, ugh, you turn the fan on.
But in the back of your mind what's going on.
Of course I know, but I just don't want to see any evidence of it. And I'm the same way. Like I know some people when they're in a relationship, they get really comfortable with each other and they're just letting it all hang out. I like to keep a little bit of the mystery. I mean, it's not a mystery because we all know what's going on, but I don't start, belching. I don't start... There's couples who like give each other a fucking Dutch oven when they're sleeping in bed. Like, you don't do that. That's horrible. That's awful. I don't want to... No. And I don't do that with friends either. I'm not the kind of person who's just like, just lit it up. I guess I'm kind of...
Dutch oven with your friends?
No, I guess I'm pretty fastidious about such things. Maybe a little stuffy and prudish, I don't know, but yeah, that does not appeal to me. So I know we didn't talk about this beforehand, but I hope you just play along with me here, Warren. I thought it would be a nice gesture since this is supposedly supposed to be the Christmas show, and we've been, at the very least, slightly negative about the whole Christmas holiday. I thought it would be a nice gesture if we were to give the audience, give our fans, a little bit of a special Christmas wish from the Warren and Bradley show. It's from us to them, and if you just play along, just pretend it's like a 50s musical, I think we can make this great. We can make this really special for the people. So here we go. This is a Christmas wish from the Warren and Bradley show. Here we go. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. You take the lead, I'll take the backups.
Okay. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. A Yuletide day. From now on, our troubles
Bring it home,
will
Warren.
be miles away.
Together now. Here we are, as in olden days, happy golden days of yore. Faithful friends, you're a faithful friend,
who are dear to us,
gather near to us once more. I'll take this one. The years we all will be together, if the fates allow. Just hope those fates allow. Hang a shining star upon the highest bough, and have yourself a merry little Christmas now.
Just want to take a moment to wish a Merry Christmas to all our fans. We love each and every one of you. It's a beautiful time of year, and we want you to all to enjoy it. Yeah. It's beautiful, Brad. Just beautiful.
The years we all will be together, if the
shining star upon the highest above. And have yourself a merry little Christmas. And to all a good night.
Next time on the Ward and Bradley Show.
I hanker for a hunker. It's like a cheesy slab of slunker. I hanker for a hunker of cheese.
They don't ever show that. They don't show a little piece of poop like dancing in the toilet, being like, I want to join the party. I'm gonna sake.
Well, people talk about drinking their own urine.
That's fine. And then if you're like, ooh, I'm gonna tap that ass.
Tap that butt. Tap
No,
that
you
rump.
don't say tap that butt. Tap that rump.
Yo, baby, let me tap that. Yeah, the rump. And he said dick all the time.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what dick meant.
No.
The Warren and Bradley Show. Available on iTunes and at warrenandbradley.com. The views expressed on the Warren and Bradley Show are not necessarily those held by the hosts, Warren and Bradley, nor those of the proprietors of the website, warrenandbradley.com.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire!
Let's make some holiday magic.
It's Christmas time, Warren.
It is kind of Christmas time. It's like almost there.
Well, this is
Point.
brandy.
I don't. Yeah.
Have you ever had brandy?
I don't think I'd ever had brandy. And then someone was like, "Hey, here's some brandy. Put this in your punch." And I was like, "Just put some in a cup. I just want to try it." And it was unpleasant.
For those of you who don't know Warren, you just started drinking how long ago now? Like
It's been a couple of years, probably.
maybe 2 years. So you waited until you were 31
Yeah.
before ever tasting alcohol.
Yeah, that's right.
And it was for no moral reason. It wasn't your strict Mormon faith or anything like that.
No, I abandoned that years ago. Yeah, I just never started. And then as life got increasingly boring as the years went by, I was like, I'll give this a shot now.
Well, that's the funny thing is that most people, when they're 21 or even younger, they start their whole drinking experiment and they kind of make all those mistakes like... you don't know how. It's our Christmas show. We're recording it a little in advance of actual Christmas, but by the time it gets edited and posted, it will be Christmas. So,
Well, if any tragic events happen between now and Christmas time, and you're wondering why we're not talking about the terrorist attack or something, it's because we recorded this before Christmas.
There's a little bit of a delay.
Yeah.
But this is the Christmas show of the Warren and Bradley podcast, the Warren and Bradley show, whatever the hell it's called. We just went to a holiday party, a holiday theme party last night.
We did, yes.
Did you have a good time?
I had a lovely time while I was there. I'm a little under the weather now. I may have had too much to drink.
Overindulged in...
Overindulged. I haven't been indulging much lately, and then I had beer, and I had wine, and I had some, that punch, and I had...
The punch was very good. I liked the punch.
Yeah, the punch was delightful, and I had some brandy at one point.
Much you can take before you're completely fucked up. You end up blacking out and vomiting and going crazy. But you were doing that at 31, like a little college student or something.
Yeah, I sometimes I wish I would black out because I kind of want to know what that experience is. My reaction to alcohol seems to be that I just start to vomit, get very sick when I have a lot of alcohol. So I can never really experience anything an experience where I don't remember what happens. I wake up with my fists all scraped up, and then I wonder what happened. That never happens to me.
See, I do get the blackout thing every once in a while. I mean, I don't drink that often anymore. Or I guess I never have been a daily drinker. But usually on the weekends, you tie one on. But I used to in the past have more instances where I would wake up. There was a time in LA when I was going to school down there I woke up in my bed fully clothed, like in my dorm room at college. I had Taco Bell food kind of crushed and smeared on my body as I was in bed. My sunglasses were in my pocket and broken. I had a rip in my jeans and like a bloody knee, and one of my fists was all bruised as though I had been fighting somebody. And so, obviously, you know, I wanted to know what had happened. And so I started trying to track down anyone who had seen me that night, figure out. Because the only thing I remember, and that's the thing, to me, there didn't seem to be any missing time. I could remember being in a club, I remember being with my friends, and I could remember, I thought, the entire trip home. Like, my friend Kirk drove me home, I went inside.